So we're going to pick up where we left off. Last time we explored the file paths, and now we're going to create new folders and then look at their file paths. So once again, we have two different drives: the C drive and the D drive. And I'll go into the C drive here. And the way I create a new folder is I right-click, and from the pop-up menu. How do you right-click, by the way? There's you have two fingers, one on each of the mouse buttons. Your index finger is on the left mouse button, and your middle finger is on the right mouse button. So you click with the right mouse button, and then there'll be a little pop-up menu that pops up, and you choose New. And then, in this case, it just says Folder. On some machines, you'll see a whole bunch of different options here. So we'll choose Folder. And then, it'll give us the name, it'll give us the new folder that we can name. And by default, it'll say New Folder, and the text New Folder will be highlighted. When that text is highlighted, that means that if you start typing, it will replace whatever is there. I've seen a lot of people in creating new folders or things like that. They click within it and then press backspace, 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 backspace to get rid of it, and they just waste a whole bunch of time. If you're one of the people that does that, don't do that. What we want to do here, I'll do this again so you can see. I'm going to right-click, and I'll choose New Folder. Over here it says on the bottom New Folder, and then I immediately start typing the name of the new folder. So I'm going to type here CS12, and then I'll press Enter, and that is the name of the new folder. Now I've created this folder. I'll double click on it to enter into that folder, and if I would click now in this address bar, you see it says C:/CS12. That means I'm on the C drive, I'm in the root folder. Within the root folder, I'm within the CS12 folder. That's what we would call the present working directory, PWD, present working directory, or the current directory is C:/CS12. Okay, within CS12, so within C colon, and then within C colon, we have this CS12 folder over here. Within CS12, I might want to make other folders. So how am I going to make new folders? Exactly the same process. I'll right-click, and I'll choose New Folder. And let's see, what kind of things would we need within this CS12? Let's say we'll have a special folder for homeworks. So you'll store all of your homeworks within this CS12 folder. So it's not going to be C:/homeworks, but it's going to be C:/CS12 within CS12 homeworks. How about, let's say you also had papers that you needed to write. So again, we choose within here New and New Folder. And what kind of new folder do we want? Let's say papers. And how about also New, and we'll make a new folder called Exams. Okay, so now we have three folders within here. Let's go into the Exams folder. How do you go into the Exams folder? You double click. Here, we could go over here, CS12, and you could go into the Exams folder. That's C:/CS12/exams. And let's say we're going to have three different exams, one for Word, one for Excel, and one for Access. So we'll make a separate folder for each of these. So we right-click, and we'll say New Folder, and the first one is going to be Word, New Folder, and the next one is going to be Excel, and then New Folder, and the last one is going to be Access. So we now have three folders, and I could go, for example, to the Excel folder, and now if you look at the present working directory, It's c://cs12/exams/excel. Now we could also navigate upwards. It's true if I click over here it's going to say the full folder name, but if I'm not clicking in there to have everything highlighted, if you look, if I move the mouse over any of these parts of the path, so you see it's within the computer local disk C, then CS12, then exams, then Excel. Let's say I wanted to go up one level. I wanted to get to exams. So I would just hover over where it says exams and I'd click on there and it would bring me to exams. Let's double click back to Excel. Let's say I wanted to go all the way back to CS12. So I could just click on CS12 and that would bring me there. Or you see over here there's actually a drop down for each of these. So I could go up one level within CS12 to exams, homeworks, or papers, or within exams I could go to Excel, Word, or Access. See different folders that I can navigate to. Okay, so we saw now how to create new folders. The next thing I'd like to discuss is how to rename a folder. Let's say instead of calling this Word, it might make sense to call this instead Microsoft Word. So how do we do this? What's done is done. Isn't this folder already called Word? Well, what we can do is we can click on a specific folder, and then you press the F2 key on the top of the keyboard. That doesn't mean that at first you type the letter F, and then you press the letter 2. If you look at the top of your keyboard, and there's a bunch of function keys, function 1, function 2, function 3, maybe it goes all the way to function 10 or function 12. One of those is F2. So you see Word is selected. I'm going to press F2, and now I can, you see the text that says Word is highlighted, and I could type some kind of new text. I could click within here and move around with the arrow keys, and I'll type here Microsoft space Word, and now I have Access, Excel, and Microsoft Word. 3 separate folders within here. And let's say we'll make another folder over here called PowerPoint. It's another application within Microsoft's Office suite. And let's say I now decide this is not a good idea. I don't want to have a PowerPoint folder. So what I can do is I can click on PowerPoint to select it, and then look at your keyboard. You'll see the special key called delete. It'll either say delete or DEL. Press that, and are you sure you want to move this folder to the recycle bin? And you say yes, and then it no longer exists. So now you know how to do. Let me just, I'll open up Notepad, and I'm just going to type this down, what we've just covered. So what have we seen so far? We've seen how to create folders, how to rename folders, and how to delete folders. Now, I showed you one way of doing each of these things. That's not necessarily the only way of doing them. Let me show you another way of doing them. Let's say I want to rename Microsoft Word, to just change it back to Word. So I could right-click on Microsoft Word, and it'll say over here, delete, to delete it. And then, are you sure you want to move this folder to the recycle bin to delete it? And I'll say no, in this case. But I could say yes, and then it would delete it. Or I can right-click on Microsoft Word, and I could choose rename, and then that will let me get rid of the word Microsoft here, and now I'm back to Word. So I have delete, and I have rename. We saw that there's actual keys on the keyboard that you can use to do this. You could also use the mouse to do this. Let me show you one further way of doing it. You could use the File menu. Now, you might not see a File menu within Windows Explorer that we're seeing over here, but in fact, it's there. They're just hiding it from you. If you press the Alt key, it should be both to the right and to the left of your keyboard. You press the Alt key. So then they'll show the File menu, the Edit menu, the View menu, Tools menu, and Help menu. And so we'll click here on File, And then one of the things we could do within file is new, and we could choose then new folder. So that's one way of creating a new folder or any of these other types of documents here. We could also, here we go, Alt, let me show you what else there is. So this is the file menu, here's the edit menu. You could undo certain steps, for example. The view menu, I showed in the last video, there's different ways of viewing it. You could also use the view menu. And you don't need to use the mouse for this. This is, so let's say you didn't have a mouse on your computer. So you press the Alt key, and then you see how there's the underline under the V, under the E, under the F. Pressing that first letter would actually select it. So Alt F would open up that file menu, and then you could use the arrow keys up, down, left, right to move around to different menu items. And there's a lot of things that you can do, but you should try them out one by one, only in the folders that we create over here. That way you're less likely to do damage. But this is a further step, creating a folder structure by yourself. Okay, so that's enough for this video. Maybe next time we'll start creating files within this folder, and then perhaps we will copy files from one folder to the next.